Hello, Hofstra fans, and welcome to the second Sports Beat episode of the fall semester. I'm your host, Billy Nafash, and we have an action-packed show for you tonight. We begin in the MLB, diving through the postseason. From the diamond, we head to the hardwood, bringing you highlights and analysis from the WNBA Finals. Then our very own Imani Washington sits down with Hofstra men's basketball associate head coach Mike Depaoli for a live in-studio interview. Following that, it's time to buy and sell storylines around Major League Baseball. Moving to Hofstra Sports, we bring you our Pride Weekly Update, followed by the Pride Top 5. Then in the home stretch, we take a look inside the career of former NHL goalie Keith Kincaid and close the show with Roar or Boar. Don't go anywhere because Sports Beat starts right now! The MLB postseason has seen unforgettable moments so far with plenty of drama. Here to break it down further with me, Eric Leaf and Gabby Gordon. So guys, the Dodgers, they're the reigning champs, and they've looked like it. They're up 2-0 in the NLCS. Is any team beating this Dodgers team?
I don't know. I think the Dodgers are still absolutely the team to beat. Let's not forget they have 4 MVPs on that roster and one of the strongest starting rotations in all of Major League Baseball. This team is a juggernaut for a reason, with their only flaw being the bullpen.
And the fact that their only flaw is the bullpen means that your opposing teams have to make the bullpen come into play, and the Dodgers haven't needed to use their bullpen at all. Yoshinobu Yamamoto threw a complete game in the last matchup, and that is something that's going to propel this team forward. Until someone knocks the Dodgers off of the podium that they're standing on, they are contenders year in and year out and will continue to be.
So the team they're playing, the Milwaukee Brewers, they had the best record in Major League Baseball this year, but they're down 0-2 after losing those 2 games at home. What do they have to do to get back in this series?
This is a team missing a superstar, and that was really propelled from their 14-game winning streak, so they don't have one guy to rely on. They have to dip into that Dodgers bullpen. They did not get anywhere close to Dodgers bullpen in games 1 and 2. You had an 8 scoreless innings, and then only 1 run in that second game.
I will say this about the Brewers team. They are a gritty group. They are 5th least in strikeouts for the regular season this season. They were 22nd in home runs, though, which is low in the pedestal with the rest of the teams, but they were 3rd in hits. This team gets on base, they make things happen when they have to, and they make opposing pitchers work. They just have to get back to the roots of what they did in the regular season, get back to what they did during that 14-game win streak, and make it happen against the Dodgers.
So moving from the senior to the junior circuit, the Mariners have also won 2 road games to take a 2-0 lead back home in their league championship series in the ALCS for the first time in 24 years. Only team in Major League history to not win a pennant. What does this Mariners team have to finally get to the World Series?
This is probably the most complete team Seattle has ever had. They have a 2-0 lead, which is the first time in franchise history they've ever had that. And they have guys like Josh Naylor they acquired at the deadline, who has been unbelievable. He's the first player in franchise history with 3 hits, 1 home run, and a stolen base in a playoff game. And Jorge Polanco has been unbelievable in that 4-hole for them. So this is a unbelievably well-rounded team.
They have such a great cushion now with a 2-0 lead against the Blue Jays, and they have such an effective starting rotation. But we know the Blue Jays, their pitching rotation, they dominate with the splitter. It killed the Yankees in the divisional series. But the Mariners have 2 guys on their team that kill the splitter. Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, respectively. They've got a 1.159 OPS and a 1.091, respectively. That is something that if the Blue Jays do not change the scouting report against the Mariners, we could see a very early exit.
So the Blue Jays, also a 1 seed, had the best record in the American League this year. But last year, 74-88, last place in their division. What does this team have that last year's team doesn't?
This isn't a flashy baseball team. This isn't a team that chases home run pitches. They led the league in batting average. They had a .292 average with runners in scoring position, and they have an elite defense. This team will kill you by committee. They're deep. Their only flaw is their pitching.
The Blue Jays are in a rough spot right now. They're down 2-0. It is go time. It is now or never. They need to go back to what they did against the Yankees. Easier said than done, of course, though, because you're facing a completely different opponent in the Seattle Mariners, who, in my opinion, are a more well-rounded, put-together, successful team. You need to get the guy, your best hitter, hitting again. Vladimir Guerrero, he has been held hitless in the first 2 games of this series, and if he doesn't touch the ball, it's going to be very difficult to see how the lineup adapts around him.
So the Philadelphia Phillies, a team that got eliminated, they've gone farther away from the World Series every year since they won the pennant in 2022. Was this their last chance?
I don't think so at all. This is still a prolific offense with guys like Bryce Harper, who has been proven to rise in the playoffs. Maybe not this postseason, but they still have a stacked lineup and offense, and it's going to be a different Phillies team moving forward because of so many free agent signings and people leaving, but it is still going to be a very, very good baseball team.
The Phillies, first off, just what a heartbreaking way to end their season. It was difficult, but you can't put it all on that one singular ending play because the season doesn't fall on the shoulders of one specific guy. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with their rotation. Will we see Zach Wheeler return from his injury stint? What are we going to see with Kyle Schwarber? Will they bring him back? A lot of questions, but I think this is a Phillies team that still has what it takes.
Thank you, Eric and Gabby. As the Fall Classic is upon us, one season has recently come to a close. Sienna Olivares takes you through all the action from the WNBA Finals.
What's up, Sports Beat fans? I'm Sienna Olivares, here to break down Game 4 of the 2025 WNBA Finals. Let's take a look at the best plays of Game 4. Into the first quarter, Kalia Copper is coughing off an Alyssa Thomas slip screen, making Wilson and Young decide who to pick up. She drives down the lane, finishing on the opposite side of the basket with her inside hand. Into the second quarter, in transition, the Aces Gray kicks it out to Evans, back to Jewel Lloyd for a wide open 3. Jewel Lloyd shot 50% from beyond the arc. Westfeld missed Alyssa Thomas and 1 over 2 defenders. Talk about grit, talk about toughness. That is all I can sum up about Thomas. Into the third quarter, Thomas and McConney pushing the tempo. You see the Aces trotting back on defense. Thomas running her lane. Easy 2, quick layup, easy money for her. Back to the replay, you see everyone stopping in a man defense. No problem for Thomas. Quick, easy 2 for her. Into the fourth quarter, DeWanna Bonner, a key component of this Mercury team, kicks the ball up to a 6'7" Kaylani Brown for a wide open layup. Then we have Jackie Young, back to Wilson, doesn't have it. Evans does not have it. Asia Wilson with the jumper, easy money for them. All in all, there could only be one winner, folks, and the Aces won with a score of 97 to 86. Wilson then finished the game with not only 31 points and 9 rebounds, but Finals MVP. The Aces win their 3rd final in 4 years. With your WNBA update, I'm Sienna Olivares.
Giuseppe Oliveri, proud Kyle Pitts fans.
Ethan Poole, allergic to watermelon.
Lindsey Park.
Let it all work out. Omar Ardon, Hofstra, University.
Andrew Monty, depressed sports fan.
Welcome back to Sports Beat. I'm Imani Washington, and joining me is the associate head coach of the men's basketball team, Mike Depaoli. Let's take a look at some of the team's highlights from last season. Coach, thank you so much for joining me today. You've been a part of Hofstra's basketball program for several years now, starting off as a grad assistant and working your way up to associate head coach. What has it been like going full circle with a team that you've helped build from the ground up?
Yeah, I mean, it's really special to be at a place like Hofstra, and what I mean by that is it starts with the players. So going back when I first got here, I think it was 2008, get really fortunate to work with Charles Jenkins, who is arguably one of the greatest players ever to play at Hofstra, obviously Speedy being the best. And I got to know Speed during that time because his white Bentley would always be pulled up in the back when he was playing in the NBA. So I got to know him then. And now to be full circle, quite frankly, seeing Speedy as an NBA player and now seeing him as the head coach here and seeing his full circle is really remarkable. For me, it's cool just to be a part of it and be around guys like Charles Jenkins, DeJour Bowie, Justin Wright Foreman, Aaron Estrada. There's a real brotherhood here, and that's what makes it real special.
That's really special, and being around such a great group of young men as well. You've earned such a strong reputation also developing guards here, producing CAA Player of the Year and multiple all-conference standouts. What has been your approach in helping players grow, not only in their skills, but their mindset as well?
Yeah, and so much of that starts with Coach Speed, right? Like Coach Speed playing in the NBA, when you're 5'11" and you play in the NBA, you have to have a certain blueprint that got you there, and that's really what we sell these guys on. For us, what it comes down to, though, is trust. That's the most important word with these young men. Now, we have a lot of results that help, we call it blind faith, that you may not see where you're going, but you have to trust us with where you're getting to. And we tell our guys all the time, before we can be dream sellers, we need to be truth tellers. So we try and be very honest with them during the recruiting process of what they're good at and what they need work on. And then we call it our plan of attack, where we're going to break down exactly how we're going to go about getting them better. Now, that plan of attack is just words on a piece of paper. It's their job to bring it to life. Okay, and what brings it to life, we say to these guys all the time, it's what happens in the after hours. It's what happens in the mornings, what happens in the evenings when we're not with them. That's what made Charles Jenkins so good. That's what made Justin Wright Foreman so good. That's what made Aaron Estrada, Tyler Thomas so good, is what their extra looked like. What are you doing on top of what you're doing with us? So we're going to sweat with them every day. We're going to be on the court with them every single day. But what they do to bring that plan to life is really what makes them special. And they're really self-motivated young men.
And that's clearly obvious and clearly evident because you've led one of the top defenses in the CAA for multiple seasons. What has been the idea and the identity behind that defense, and how have you been able to get the players to hone into that identity?
Yeah, so the identity, again, it comes from the players, right? Like, it's their job to bring it to life. And good teams are coach-led, great teams are player-led, okay? And when your players take ownership of the vision, that's what brings it to life. So it starts with them taking ownership in the defensive DNA. But then the other side of it is, we use the term all the time, gritty, not pretty. Okay, so we want to roll up our sleeves every night, and we say if it's a fight, it favors us. If it's finesse, it favors the other team. And what happens is when they see the results behind that, again, the buy-in increases. When they can see that we can beat Seton Hall 48-47, and then we can beat Iona 90-70, your defense allows you to win the games. Your offense determines by how much. The last thing I'll say about defense is your offense is like the stock market. It's going to ebb and flow night to night. That's just how it works. Your defense, you want to be like your bonds. You want to know what your rate of return is every single night. That's something that travels. That's something that shows up in away games. That's something that shows up in home games. So that's the backbone of our program.
Thank you so much, Coach, for joining us, and good luck in your first season in your new role. Don't go anywhere because Sports Beat will be right back after this.
Hello, my name is Caitlin Takes. I'm currently one of the 2 producers for the Heat Network's game show Spin the Wheel. Spin the Wheel is a 30-minute variety comedy game show. The way that the game works is that you spin the wheel, play a game, and then if you win, you move on to our final round where you'll hopefully be winning a prize. We are an open writer's room every Monday night from 7 to 9 this semester. Our show will be November 10th, Monday night at 8:30 p.m. See you then.
Welcome back to Sports Beat, folks. I am once again joined by Eric Leaf and Gabby Gordon as it is time to buy or sell the latest topics in the world of Major League Baseball. Want to start with the one that's been going on all year. Is Cal Raleigh your American League MVP?
This is the closest MVP race we've had in years in Major League Baseball. I think this can go either way. There's no wrong answer, but the fact that Cal Raleigh has had such an unbelievable year as a catcher, 60-plus home runs, I think that gives you the edge in an era where voter fatigue is something that you have to be concerned about with MVPs.
Yeah, like Eric said, I don't think there's an incorrect answer here because you've got two stars who are changing the way that baseball is played. Judge has been doing it for a while, but now Riley comes onto the scene, and he has just exploded, and he has sustained it through the postseason as well as the Mariners make a push. For me, though, I think Aaron Judge is still your MVP. I mean, he is slashing .331, .457, .688 this regular season that just passed. That is something that we don't see in Major League Baseball. To consistently be batting over 300 and doing it well, and then, of course, I know the postseason doesn't really weigh into the MVP race, but to see that he was able to sustain it in the postseason when there was a lot of questions surrounding Aaron Judge, he continues to be the guy in New York. He is their captain. He is their leader. He is my MVP.
So there's another prolific home run hitter, this time in the National League. Kyle Schwarber, he's the biggest free agent on the market this winter. Does he stay a Philadelphia Philly?
I think he absolutely does, and this is the biggest thing for the Phillies this offseason. They're going to hand Kyle Schwarber a blank check and ask him to write his number because he is that valuable to this team. This is his best season of his entire career. I know he's getting up there in age, and that's a concern for the Phillies, but I think when you are trying to win right now with this roster, you absolutely have to retain one of your hallmark guys.
It's almost incredible to see that as he gets up in age, he's almost getting more productive, and I think that it's a no-brainer that the Phillies have to go and lock him up again. Maybe it's just a one-year extension, see if he can continue to sustain the success, but that has to be one of their priorities this offseason.
So there's another big impending free agent in the National League East. Pete Alonso, does he stay a New York Met?
I think Pete also does, but I'm less confident than I was in Schwarber. The Mets were able to re-sign Pete last offseason, and it was a bit of a tumultuous offseason between both Pete and the Mets front office, but I think he realizes how valuable he is to this team, how good this Mets team can be, and also I think it means something to him that he is the poster boy of the Mets. He has almost every single Mets record. He's getting closer to becoming an all-time great Met. I think he stays in New York.
I agree. Listen, I think that the Mets are in a really weird spot right now, especially because they came in with World Series or bust aspirations with the lineup that they put together behind Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, and Francisco Lindor. I think Alonso may have even been drowned out a little bit by the Juan Soto and his coming party to Queens, and then the whole story with the amount of money that they paid him and everything in between. I think Alonso's almost been shafted in a way with how the media sees him. All eyes were on Juan Soto, and Juan Soto had a good year, but Alonso has looked really, really productive, and I think that they have to lock him down again.
Thank you once again to Eric Leaf and Gabby Gordon. Swinging from the pros to the Pride, Elliott Pierce has your Pride Weekly Update.
What's going on, Sports Beat fans? I'm Elliott Pierce. Fall sports are ramping up as we start with men's soccer, who are riding a 5-game win streak. The Pride took down Stony Brook 3-2 last Saturday as the 1-2 punch of Lori Goddard and Daniel Burko continues to shine, both scoring in the victory. Goddard leads the team with 7 goals, and Burko is right behind him with 6. Hofstra sits atop the CAA as they head to Fordham on Tuesday to take on the Rams. You can catch the action at 7 p.m. on ESPN+. Women's soccer tries to pick up momentum, shutting out Drexel at Captain's Field 3-0 and improving to 23-5-2 all-time against the Dragons. Thorhildur Thorhallsdottir, Matilda Braithwaite, and Manon Labargi all scored in the contest. The ladies return tomorrow, taking on the UNCW Seahawks on the road. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. on Flows College. Volleyball continues their historic run with a 13-2 record. Hofstra swept Hampton last Friday with Beatrice Braga, Clara Ball, and Constanza Perez-Sign combining for 33 kills. The Pride welcomes the Stony Brook Seawolves on Friday and Saturday. Both matches are set for you for 6 p.m., and you can watch Friday's game on Flow College and MSG Networks, and Saturday on Flow College. Field hockey is finally back in the win column following a come-from-behind 4-3 victory in overtime against Wagner. Gwen Van Dyke's sudden death goal on Senior Day snapped a 5-game losing streak for the Pride. Hofstra takes the trip to play the Northeastern Huskies this Friday at 3 p.m. on Flow College. For more information on live streams, schedules, and more, visit GoHofstra.com.
October is one of the most action-packed months in the world of sports, but the highlight of every Hofstra fans month is, of course, the Pride Top 5. Battle of Long Island against Stony Brook, down 1-0 in the second half, and it's going to be Daniel Burko there to pick up the loose change and pick up the ball for that matter, going over to celebrate with his teammates. Going to have one more look at this one. Campisi gets the ball, crosses it into the box, header from Hembelman Perez off the crossbar, and tic-tac-toe, just how Richard Nuttall drew it up, I'm sure. Don't go anywhere because that game will be back on this countdown. But at number 4, over on the women's side of the pitch, Senior Day, the senior out of Iceland, Thorhildur Thorhall's daughter, dotting up the Drexel defense. Another look, 2 defenders on her. Absolutely does not matter. From outside the box as well. There's 3 white jerseys in the box, but they only need to be spectators on that play. Hofstra goes on to win that game 3-0. At number 3, heading over to some field hockey in overtime in the Nor'easter this weekend. Hope you didn't get caught in that. But Gwen Van Dyke with the game on her stick, the Hofstra freshman, a hero on Senior Day against Wagner. That's right, Long Island triumphs over Staten Island. The Hempstead Turnpike blows Victory Boulevard out of the water. Hofstra field hockey moves their record now to 6-7. Number 2, down in Hampton, Hofstra volleyball. They've looked really good so far. 13-2 record after this game, beating the lowly Hampton Pirates. And bump, set, spike from Constanza Perez signed with an exclamation point of a spike. Let's have one more look. You've got the sliding dig, the perfect backspin on the set, and yeah, good luck catching up to that one. And coming in at number 1, told you we would be back at this game. Less than a minute to go in the second half. Daniel Burko once again with the header to win the game for the Hofstra Pride. That's right. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? No. How many headers does it take to beat Stony Brook? 1, 2, and 3. That's right, Mr. Al. Hofstra men's soccer, winners of 5 in a row, sitting atop the CAA conference comfortably, I might add. What a month for Hofstra athletics overall. That'll do it for the Pride Top 5. Don't go anywhere. SportsBeat will be right back following these short messages.
Control room. Let's go. We've got every position here for our Division I broadcast. We've got our AD, our producer, our director, our technical director, video, replay, graphics, audio, and on site, Raj.
Thanks, Kev. And now we're on site, and here's our setup. We have 6 cameras total, 3 up here. Our talent's ready for the call, and this is Hofstra Sports Media.
Here on SportsBeat, it's rare that we get to cover hockey. However, our very own Zach Weicker had the opportunity to sit down with former NHL goaltender Keith Kincaid and dive into his professional career. Let's take a look.
What's up, SportsBeat fans? My name is Zach Weicker, and we are here at Northwell Health Ice Hockey Rinks to interview a very special NHL player, Keith Kincaid. I'm here with NHL veteran Keith Kincaid. Keith, I'm going to start from all the way from the start to where we are now. Where's your first memory of picking up a hockey stick and putting on the pads?
I think it'd be going back to initiation, where everyone was started as a forward or a player, and then at the end you do a little scrimmage at the end, and they ask who wants to put the pads on, and I always volunteered. Nobody else really wanted to. My dad tried to talk to me out of being a goalie, but I guess I was too thick-headed to listen, and here I am now.
You played 2 years of college hockey at Union College. So what was the biggest lessons you learned in college that propelled you to being an NHL goalie?
Yeah, I guess when I got there, it was pretty eye-opening, how hard everyone was working, and, especially the off-ice, heavy lifting. I never really was lifting that heavy, and, my first week at Union was pretty tough, but, you learn the ropes pretty quick, and then, even going into college to pro, the level is just that much higher, and you got to adapt and adjust. So,
unfortunately, in your draft year, you didn't get drafted. But what kept motivating you and inspiring you to become an NHL player despite that bump in the road?
Yeah, I think I don't think drafting really makes or breaks anyone. It's almost better to be undrafted because you kind of can choose where you want to go if you have a good year. So I had a good All-American year in my second year in Union, and I had a few offers to choose from, and I picked the best spot. I thought I can step in right away in the minors and then have an NHL job later in life.
Yeah, and in 2011, you did sign with the Devils. So how much does that mean for you to put pen and paper with the NHL organization?
Yeah, I think it was so fun. You can always go back to school, I always said, but this opportunity, you never know what could have happened my junior year. I could have got injured, and then those offers would be off the table. So I thought, might as well sign now and start my pro career. I felt pretty good. Like I said, I did get All-American, which is an honor. Obviously a team award because we were really good that year, but you had to jump on the opportunity.
And with your time with the Devils, you have played over 100 games with that organization. So overall, how would you describe your experience with the Devils?
Yeah, most fun times of my life. Especially the year, we made playoffs. We went on a really crazy run the second half of the season and, got into playoffs. Unfortunately, lost to Tampa in 5 games, but that was probably one of my most memorable experiences with New Jersey. And just thank you to, everyone that helped me along the way too.
And to expand on that, for that 2017-2018 season, you mentioned you guys did make the playoffs, but you were a big role for the team making that playoff push. How special was that for you to be the one in between the pipes for that playoff push?
Yeah, I kind of always said I want to be the one in goal to help the team propel them to playoffs, and fortunately we did. Unfortunately, we didn't succeed in playoffs, but I did get to go to World Championships after and win a bronze medal with USA, which was probably the highlight of my career.
Now, with your free time, you help out the Hofstra ice hockey program. So what has that been like for you?
Yeah, it's been great. It's great to, dip my feet in the coaching because you can't play forever. So I'm doing it with my best man, who was my best man for the wedding. And it's just been a great experience. I'm really excited for what's to come with them.
And so far, you've seen them practice quite a bit. How do you think they'll perform this season?
Yeah, we're gonna do great. So I'm really excited. I know last year wasn't the way they wanted it, but I think with the new regime, it'll be great.
Keith, thank you very much for your time. Sports Beat, that's all for now. I'm Zach Weicker.
Thank you to Keith Kincaid and Zach Weicker for that incredible sit-down interview. We welcome back Eric Leaf and Gabby Gordon one final time to find out what is roaring and boring in Hofstra athletics. Men's soccer, winners of 4 straight CAA championships. It's Richard Nuttall's last season. Do they go out on top of the 5th straight?
I think they absolutely do. Not only is this a championship program, it is an absolute dynasty here at Hofstra University, and all they know is winning. I think they get it done again.
The team culture that Coach Nuttall has built, these guys are going to do absolutely anything to send their coach out on a high note. If you get the ball in the direction of your stars, Lori Goddard, Daniel Burko, like we saw in the top 5 with you, Billy, they're going to get the job done.
Hofstra volleyball 13-2. The Delaware Blue Hens used to be a powerhouse in this conference. They're no longer here. Does this team have what it takes to get to the title game at least?
Hofstra's had an unbelievable season, but I'm really worried about Towson, who is the number 1 seed with a 17-game winning streak. It's going to be hard to beat Towson.
Now, just today we found out that the volleyball team is first in the nation in hitting percentage. We saw they fell short last year against Charleston. I see a situation where they can take revenge. They're an athletic team built to win. I say that's roaring.
Excuse me. Well, thank you, Eric Leaf and Gabby Gordon, for another great edition of Roar and Bore. That will do it for our second show of the fall semester, and we have plenty of thanks to go around. Eric and Gabby took you through the latest in postseason baseball, bought and sold the latest from the Diamond, and gave us their opinions on the latest in Hofstra sports. Sienna Olivares brought you a breakdown of the WNBA Finals, and Elliott Pierce did the same in Hofstra Athletics with the Pride Weekly Update. Special thanks to men's basketball associate head coach Mike Depaoli for joining Imani Washington for a live in-studio interview to discuss his first season in the new role. Thank you, Keith Kincaid, for taking the time to speak with our very own Zach Weicker about his NHL career. My name is Billy Nafash. Sports Beat will return on November 5th. Thank you for tuning in, and remember to always roar with pride.